We're turning up the volume on the chaos. 2019's polarizing character study that terrified theaters, baffled the censors, and confused critics. Joker, a true descent into madness, is up next on Quick Quest Deep Dive.
In October 2019, Warner Brothers released a $55 million film that caused actual global panic. Major news outlets were breathless with reports that this movie would spark real-world violence. The studio had to station armed security at theaters, and the media cycle was a hysterical blender of moral outrage. But the box office? It didn't bomb. It exploded into a billion-dollar cultural phenomenon.
Wow. The cultural impact. Yet, it became the defining psychological character study of the late 2010s, a film that didn't just predict a fracture of social empathy, but held a mirror to a society that treats mental illness as a punchline.
The narrative twist, because behind the grease paint and the cheap suit lies a hollow, terrifying masterpiece, one where every single frame, laugh, and memory is filtered through a brain that can no longer distinguish between reality and fantasy.
Stage setter. This isn't just a movie about a comic book villain. This is Todd Phillips' ultimate autopsy of systematic collapse. Welcome to the definitive deep dive into Joker.
Now, making a movie this visceral doesn't happen by accident, and the physical and psychological toll behind the scenes was as fractured as the protagonist himself.
Production secrets. The 52-pound sacrifice. Joaquin Phoenix didn't just act, he starved. He dropped 52 pounds to achieve a skeletal, haunting physicality, which he claimed affected his psychology, making him move in ways that felt insect-like and alienated.
The bathroom dance. The iconic, terrifying dance in the public bathroom after the subway shooting wasn't in the original script. Hildur Dabnottir haunted cello score was played on set, and Phoenix simply started moving, an improvised moment of terrifying liberation that became the film's turning point.
The Notebook of Madness. To get into the headspace of Arthur Fleck, Phoenix spent months filing a personal journal with handwriting that deteriorated as the movie progressed, mirroring his mental decline. The studio let him write whatever he wanted in it. Most of it was never even shown on screen.
The authentic pathological laugh. Phoenix spent months meticulously researching people suffering from pathological laughter, specifically pseudobulbar affect. He practiced distinct types of laughs for Arthur: the pain laugh, the socially trying to fit in laugh, and the genuine joy laugh, practicing them alone until he could make the laughter sound physically painful and suffocating.
Oh my God. But before a single frame was shot, the casting process was a labyrinth of what-ifs and the behind-the-scenes friction that would have fundamentally changed the entire genre.
Casting secrets. The DiCaprio factor. Believe it or not, before Joaquin Phoenix signed on, director Todd Phillips actively pursued Leonardo DiCaprio for the role of Arthur Fleck.
The De Niro connection. Robert De Niro, playing the talk show host Murray Franklin, initially had reservations about the project, but was convinced by the script's raw, uncompromising vision. It was a meta-casting choice, the king of the 70s gritty cinema passing the torch to the new generation.
The real-life green room tension. The icy, uncomfortable dynamic between De Niro and Phoenix on screen wasn't entirely acting. The two clashed during pre-production because De Niro insisted on a traditional script read-through with the cast, while Phoenix fiercely refused, wanting to keep his performance raw and unpredictable. The tension carried directly onto the set.
The FBI warning. The hysteria just wasn't media driven. Days before release, the FBI circulated an internal bulletin warning law enforcement about potential threats from incel adjacent extremists who might view the film as inspirational. This wasn't studio marketing or online rumor, it was the federal government preparing for violence in screenings. Joker wasn't treated like entertainment, it was treated like a possible flashpoint.
Once the production was logged, the film started hiding the truth in plain sight. Details most viewers walked right past.
Hidden details, the clock consistency. Throughout the movie, clocks appear in various scenes. If you pay attention, they are almost never consistent and they don't move in real time. It's a subtle visual cue that Arthur's perception of time and reality is entirely broken.
The stairs as a map. Arthur's ascent up the stairs is painful, labored, and exhausting. His descent, while dancing, is fluid and effortless. The stairs aren't just a location, they are the visual representation of his rejection of the upward mobility society expects of him.
The king of comedy inversion. The movie actively flips the scripts on Martin Scorsese's The King of Comedy. In the 1982 film, Robert De Niro plays a delusional, failed comedian who kidnaps a late night talk show host. In Joker, De Niro is the late night talk show host being targeted by a delusional, failed comedian.
The laugh track hallucination. During Arthur's stand-up routine, the audience's laughter doesn't match his performance. It cuts in too early, stops too abruptly, and overlaps moments where no joke exists. This isn't a sound mix error, it's a hallucination. The film lets you hear the version of the crowd Arthur wishes existed, not the one actually in front of him. It's the clearest audio clue that his reality isn't just fractured, it's fabricated.
And now it's time to toast it or roast it on Quip Quest Deep Dive. You could go first.
I was floored by this movie, and I never expected a movie from, let's just say, comics to be that good.
You mean like comic books?
Yeah, like comic books.
Okay.
And it was absolutely brilliant study of mental decline. So 5. I would give more, but 5.
Well, you can give more, but that don't mean it will go higher.
5.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago we had Falling Down, or 3 weeks ago, I believe. And then last week we did Fight Club. And this week we're doing Joker. And for me, I think that the societal decline factor here is amazing. That these movies just come up every once in a while, but man, they hit like a nuclear bomb. This movie is incredible. I would give it more than 5 as well. I was really surprised how good it was. I'm not a fan of Phoenix, but man, he delivered.
Yes, he did.
All of these clues point to one undeniable truth. This isn't a film about a clown. It's a precise dissection of societal apathy. Here are the 4 facts that prove it.
Fact 1. It's about the stigma of neglect. Arthur doesn't become a monster because he's evil. He becomes one because the city, the social services, and the public ignore his cry for help until he has nothing left to lose.
Fact 2. The mask is the truth. The Joker persona isn't a disguise. It's the only time Arthur feels authentic. The movie forces the audience to confront a dark irony. We only listen to the broken when they start screaming.
Fact 3. The unreliable memory. Just like Fight Club, the film forces you to question the narrator's reliability. The entire relationship with the neighbor, Sophie, it's all a delusion. The movie gaslights you just as hard as it gaslights Arthur.
Fact 4. The hospital file distortion. When Arthur steals his mother's medical file, the movie never actually confirms what he's reading. The text is fragmented, blurred, and shown only in flashes. The camera stays locked on Arthur's reaction instead of the evidence. The film refuses to verify whether the abuse happened, whether the adoption details are accurate, or whether the file says what Arthur thinks it says. It's another psychological trap. Even Arthur's big revelation might be a delusion.
Conclusion and the look ahead. The irony of the icon. The city turns him into a symbol of revolution, yet he has no ideology. He's a nihilist, accidentally leading a movement he doesn't understand, proving that chaos doesn't need a leader, it just needs a spark.
When you zoom out, Joker didn't just capture 2019's anxieties. It completed the trilogy of the modern anti-hero that we've been tracking on this show.
The evolution of the anti-hero. 1993 is falling down. The middle-class worker, he followed all the rules, worked a 9-to-5 job, bought the house, and was thrown away by corporate downsizing.
1999's Fight Club, the consumer. He had the job and the consumer goods, but realized materialism left him hollow, numb, and emasculated.
2019's Joker, the outcast. He never even got the job, the home, or the stability. He was the cast out to the lowest rung of society from the very start.
If you rewatch it tonight, pay attention to the TV news broadcast in the background of his apartment. You'll realize the world was already laughing at him before he ever put on the makeup. Up next is I Await Werewolf. We will do another Robert Eggers movie. This time it's The Lighthouse from 2019. And next week, the absolute path of societal destruction continues with the glossy corporate madness of the year 2000's craziest movie, American Psycho. Let's burn it all to the ground.
And this week's Happy Serendipity podcast is titled Past Lives, Built-in Translation, out Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Amazon Music, Audible, CastBox, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Let's go!
What a transition that was.
On purpose.